Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Ksenia, and today I'm going to be doing a short little video on my reading pet peeves. I always find it so funny and interesting to hear about the things that kind of tick people off when it comes to reading, or the habits they have which they can't break and that's annoy them. And I thought I would share mine. I think it's really fun to talk such bookish, weird things. So if you feel inclined, please share yours with me. I'll be super curious to hear what stops you from reading a book and your other different habits. The first pet peeve that I have is that I cannot stand cursing in a contemporary book. I know it's maybe considered old-fashioned, maybe considered too not contemporary, not going along with the times. And I'm okay if like a character in a bad moment uses one curse word. Like it's fine. It's the way we speak nowadays sometimes. But when it comes to like just having frequent curse words, I just can't stand it and I do not finish the book. The English language is so rich. It has so much variety of words to express frustration, rage, anger. Why would you choose to use curse words? It's just, I don't understand it. Please explain it to me. I do not finish books that use cursing for any significant portion of the book. So yes, that's my first one. The second one is I do not like books that have too many references to books outside of the... I do not like books that have too many references to TV shows, other books, history, and old like classical literature that I haven't read. I mean, it's okay if it just mentions it, but if it interferes with my understanding of the book, I really have trouble following books like this. And I regret that that's the case because I do wish that I have read all of these classics that are mentioned. And I do wish that I had the time to read in all of these different genres, these long 1,000-page books that were originally written in like Greek and Russian and other languages. And I have read many like historical books. I have read War and Peace, but it did not interfere with the reading of the book. And when it does interfere, or when it's like every other page where like all these references are mentioned, I just can't. I just can't keep going a lot of the time. So, and I'm not dismissing any of the books mentioned or TV shows. I wish I had time to do all of those things, but I do not think that they should interfere with the reading of the book. So my next reading pet peeve is relating to the appearance of books. I annotate books myself, but I always do it with these tabs and in pencil. I have this little system of different marks that I make, different amount of stars, like light bulbs if it's a really good idea, or smiley faces and a couple words that I usually use to sum up. This is like relating to identity or, you know, something like that. And I do it lightly in pencil. I underline in pencil, and I do like marking up my books. And the people who I share my books with don't seem to mind it. But when a book is so heavily marked up with like these glaring, bright neon highlighters or pens, I don't understand why that's necessary, especially when it like goes into the text. Also, in the appearance of books, I hate books that have like TV series on the cover or real faces of people on the cover. We don't know what the author of the book intended, and why make the reader have this fixed face of some actor in their mind when they're looking at the book or reading the book. Start raining. Great. We need it to cool down. Yeah, so the next one is that when it comes to library books, it really discourages me from using them because they often have a 3-week limit. And I like reading books at a slow pace. So my pet peeve is having to rush through books and feel like I am on a arbitrary schedule of this library and then I won't ever be able to access this book again. I can't annotate the book. I can't take my time and pause after the moments that touched me or that made me really sad. I can't take my time with the book. And I really wish that there was a way to have libraries that don't place these holes. But I know that with the amount of people, it's hard. And I get it. But I tend to buy a lot of books because of that. A lot more than I would have if I could not feel super rushed when borrowing library books. So the last pet peeve that I want to share is that I can't stand books with certain types of characters. I can't stand books with misogynistic characters. I know that the author might not necessarily be misogynistic. That's arguable. Maybe they're just trying to portray certain types of people. And I also can't stand unnecessary gore. And unnecessary is, of course, also arbitrary, because the author clearly thought it was necessary. I don't think it's necessary. In war stories, I do expect there to be some amount of gore, because that's the way life was back then. It was very tough. It was very cruel. But when it comes to other stuff, like, I do not understand gore. And misogynistic characters, I cannot stand them. Like, I have been wanting to read Haruki Murakami's work because he's so well known and so many booktubers rave about him and how good his writing is. But I have heard that he really objectifies women's bodies and treats them like sex objects in a lot of his books. And I just can't get around to reading him. He is on my TBR list for the rest of this year. I plan on reading his Norwegian Wood. It's considered one of his more touching books and has some of the best reviews. So hopefully it doesn't have many misogynistic and objectifying characters. But if it does, I might just not finish it and put it down permanently and never come back to this author. So yeah, these are some of my reading pet peeves. What are yours? I really think it's an interesting discussion. If I think of any, I'll probably make another video. I do think it's an interesting thing to think about. What ticks us off certain kinds of books and we just don't come back to them. I have had certain pet peeves that I have overcome. Like, I used to be a lot more intolerant of characters that I perceived as bad, and I didn't like when there were too many bad characters in books. But now I have gotten a bit more appreciative of the kind of character development that makes bad characters feel so real and their kind of messed up mindset feel real. So I have changed my approach to reading certain types of books. I have changed my approach to reading certain types of books and what I look for and what I expect from a book. But certain things, I can't read an author who seems to be constantly objectifying women or just throws in these vivid images of distended bodies or something like that. I just can't take it. Yeah. What are yours? I think I've asked this already, but what are yours? Let me know. I really enjoy reading the comments of people. And if you like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.